Hello, Aquarius. This is your reading for the entire year of 2017. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to put out 12 cards, but those cards do not represent a particular month. Instead, these cards can overlap throughout the year, influence each other, and together they will tell your story. They will reveal the message that the tarot will have for you in the upcoming year. Okay? So don't limit these cards to one particular month. They're not limited to any particular time. They will bring in energies from 2016, and they can even carry over and influence 2018. The card did fall out. Another card fell out. I think I need to stop shuffling them. I'm shuffling too fast. Okay, let's see what came out here. The first card that fell out was the Two of Cups. So we're talking about commitment. You see these two people, they're actually hand fasting. That's like a Wiccan pagan marriage here. And then the other card is Two of Pentacles. This is about balancing things in the material world, balancing money, because Pentacles are all about money, prosperity, in the material world. So you have two twos, which is interesting. So it seems as if between Cups, which is water, and Pentacles, which is earth, that there's definitely a relationship or connection to where the emotional and the material are being balanced here. Now I'm going to cut the cards and see what else is going to come up for you. Remember, Aquarius, you are swords. So any swords that show up, that's going to be related to your energy. The next card is a Nine of Pentacles. This is prosperity and happiness. And then we have the shadow side. In the traditional Rider-Waite, this is the Witch's Tarot. And so the shadow side in the Rider-Waite deck is called the Devil. So there's trouble in paradise here. That is what I'm seeing in the first part of the year. Once again, these cards, the energy of these cards can play out for the entire year. And so there's going to be happiness, but also I think with every period of happiness and joy, there's always a little bit of discontentment. I'm not necessarily seeing anything evil or sinister here. As I said, I'm seeing a little bit of trouble in paradise after the beginning of the year. The next card, I have a Queen of Cups. This is the loving, emotional, intuitive nature of the cups. Queens are always nurturing and passive. You could be involved with a cups. And then I have the Hermit, and that's been showing up quite a bit as well for the other readings. And this is always about solitary journeys and enlightenment and wisdom, seeking out wisdom. So maybe there was a little bit of trouble in paradise here. You only have one major arcana so far. That's the shadow side, the dark side. So this dark side seems to have thrown things a little bit out of whack, where we're still in love, someone's still in love with emotional attachment, and then there's a little bit of loneliness and solitary introspection. You know, it doesn't mean that there's a breakup or you will be alone, but I think that this Hermit is responding. This is another major arcana card. So you have two actually. The Hermit's responding to the shadow side and how you're going to be dealing with this, Aquarius. And like all air signs, you do think a lot. You do tend to live in your mind and analyze things, and you're very defensive. So it's not very unlikely that I see someone with water energy that you're connected to, and you two are trying to balance and figure out the practical side of the relationship. And then you withdraw. Maybe there's too much emotion for you. I don't know. Air signs are very intellectual creatures, and air signs tend to keep their emotions on lock. They don't get carried away. Unlike the water signs, maybe Scorpios and Pisces and Cancer, they feel so much. Okay? So there could be a little bit of defensiveness here in the middle of the year with this Hermit. And then I have a Page of Cups, more water in love. So I'm definitely getting a sense of overwhelming emotions and commitment and wanting to go the distance in a relationship, in spite of certain issues that seem to be cropping up with this shadow side. I have a Five of Swords reverse. Now this is important for you, Aquarius, especially seeing that swords are your energy, because now we're looking at, this is usually the card of fighting and conflict. Okay. And someone winning a battle. I think that maybe you give in, that you're not going to, sometimes with the Five of Swords, it's about someone proving they're right, or just being stubborn and wanting to be right and win the fight. This could signal you giving in to something. Okay, keep that in mind. There's going to be a shift for you. Either you're going to get really defensive and fight to the end, or just fight this Page of Cups, because you see this huge tidal wave of water representing emotions, and then this Five of Swords reversed. So maybe you're overwhelmed by emotions. Maybe you give in. So the cups, yes, it can be about someone else, but it also seems to be giving me a sense of the experience that you are going to be going through with your own relationship issues and your own feelings. Okay? So we're heading to the end of the year. And we have a Page of Wands, which is interesting because air nurtures fire. When we have the child, and this is you've had 3 children here. Okay. The little boy who was juggling the pentacles shows up again with the Page of Wands. You know, maybe it's a different little boy. But this imagery of children that are showing up throughout your spread are indicating that this is a beginning for you. You're dealing with new beginnings and taking a chance and going in new directions. That's what children do. They're naive, they're innocent, they're open, they don't hold grudges, they're learning something every single day. So this Page of Cups and Page of Wands is very significant for you, because I think that you're balancing maybe this new romance or this new emotional energy, and you're trying not to let things get out of control. And maybe with this shadow side that showed up, it could be that you're even apprehensive about trouble showing up or coming up in a relationship. Okay, so I don't think this shadow side or devil card is as serious or evil as it seems. It seems like you might be dealing with, or someone you're connected to could be dealing with some demons here. I have a King of Swords. Interesting. Kings rule. They have mastery. So you're back in your element. Okay? And definitely what I'm seeing is you getting more grounded within yourself, with your intellect, with figuring things out, how you're going to navigate this emotion, how you're going to navigate this relationship in this new situation. You've had time alone. You still feel overwhelmed by feelings. I think you're giving in to this Queen of Cups here. Maybe you're letting your defenses down. So the swords that are showing up for you, Aquarius, seem to be very significant and meaningful as you get all of this water energy. Okay? This is Three of Pentacles, and pentacles are useful. And I've said this before about the number 3, that it's a perfect number in the tarot because you have two forces that come together to create another force. And there are so many things like Father, Son, Holy Spirit, the perfect triumvirate. So the threes, this Three of Pentacles is about collaboration and using your gifts and your talents. And it can also mean using your talents for work in a meaningful way, work that you love to do, collaboration. It's a practical card as well. People who are willing to compromise and work together for the greater good, especially if this shows up in a relationship. So pentacles seem to be very meaningful to you as well, that you're trying to find balance with this Two of Pentacles. There's something to work for, which is happiness and joy and maybe a stable home life and prosperity. And so even in the midst of the turbulence, this Three of Pentacles now shows up because now there's more collaboration. You've figured things out with this King of Swords. You're figuring out how to make it work. And then you have this, you're ending your reading, the last card is Eight of Pentacles. This is productive work, moving forward. And I think that's good. Okay? So I think it's interesting how your story develops, where the tarot reveals that in many ways you're just starting out, you're still trying to figure things out with these images of children with the Two of Pentacles and the pages, the Page of Cups, the Page of Wands. And then the cups alone are signaling that you're dealing with a lot of new emotional adventures and relationships, falling in love. There's a shadow side and a hermit, your major arcana, which are indicating that you might pull back, you might be apprehensive, there might be some roadblocks that you tend to withdraw from. You tend to withdraw from relationships. And most air signs usually do, actually. But I think you're going to realize the theme that seems to be evolving here for you is that you realize that you can't always just withdraw from certain things, that you need to figure them out and figure out a way to let your guard down, as indicated with the Five of Swords, and learn to compromise. So this pentacle energy here, you have 4 cards with pentacles. It seems to be a good grounding card for you. It seems to help you rescue you from your overthinking and intellectualizing everything. And I think that you're going to be going in the direction you want to go, which means compromise, being able to give and take, finding what it is that you can give or contribute to the relationship or a new job opportunity. And you're going to be very productive by the end of the year. Nothing is going to be able to stop you. Okay? So that was your reading, Aquarius. And my greeting to everyone. Thank you so much for your support throughout the year. I really appreciate it. And thank you for your donations, your comments, and those of you who've gotten readings from me. And if you're interested in getting your own video, you can look in my description. Also, be on the lookout for January 2017 readings. Those will be coming up very soon. And so I hope to see you soon on YouTube, or hopefully you'll contact me. I would love to hear from you. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season, and I hope you have a wonderful new year. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.